And this session and all that we're going to learn today should be also dedicated to Leilu Neshama, Velvel Ben Binzion, also the Havdal Rifah Shlema, our dear Rabbi Yaron Raven Shlita. His name is Yaron Ben Doris. Also, Mimera Sirachel Bas Brandel, Ariela Oras Basana, Yehudis Bas Noach, Shlomo Sandra, David Shlomo Ben Sandra. Also, a quick release of Moshe Shmuel Ben Pnina, and Atzlacha Rabba to Giveres Chana Bas Avraham Avinu and the whole family. BeEzrat HaShem. Alright, so we continue today with our class Shabbos Home. And we're on the start new chapter, which is, 29. And our topic is tracing lines. Okay. So last topic was cutting. So we said cutting on to specification the heights. Okay. The heights, the original halacha. Now tracing lines. Section 1 of Melachah. Mesartate, tracing line. In one of the 29 Avos Melachas that are prohibited on Shabbos. During the construction of the Mishkan, lines were traced onto the heights of the Ram and Techashim, so that they could be cut into precise shapes needed to covering of the Mishkan. Okay, so basically last Melachah was cutting. So these two Melachas, as we see, they connected. Of course, first you trace lines, right, and then you cut. So I'm not sure why they change the order, but I think it's irrelevant. So cutting is cutting, and tracing the lines is tracing the lines. So it's without cutting. So cutting we said in the previous Melacha on specific sizes. Okay. 29 Melachas. Okay, no problem. So line was traced into the heights of the Ram and HaShem, so that it could cut into precise shapes, probably with something, the piece of chalk or something, right? That's erasable. Okay. So next one is definition. Mesartate is defined, meaning tracing line, is defined in making lines on an object in order to guide one's hand in performing a given action, such as writing, cutting, tearing, or sewing. Okay, so let's go into definition. So definition on the Torah level is defined making lines on an object in order to guide the hand in performing given action. So, for example, writing. So, if anybody ever saw the mezuzah, like open mezuzah or a Torah scroll, they each these lines, right, and then I think it's with a knife. With a knife, or it will be something like sharp, right, because you're cutting the leather. Okay, so like not too deep, but it's deep enough so you can see the lines. Okay, right, so, such as for writing, cutting. So meaning first, like I don't know, if you want to cut, for example, a piece of wood, first you draw with a pencil. I mean today is a little different. So they have a laser like a guide. So I mean, but still you need the mark at least. So where are you going to cut? Okay. Tearing or sewing. So sewing, right? Tearing or sewing. These people who deal with sewing, they trace with a piece of chalk. It's like I saw this chalk. It's very thin. Okay, very interesting. So tracing lines. So only lines. Okay. Part number 3: Torah and Rabbinic prohibition. The biblical law of tracing lines is forbidden only if the lines are soft, as a sort that can remain permanently and will not disappear on its own accord. However, rabbis extended that prohibition even to include lines that will not endure. So let's try to understand. So again, Torah and Rabbinic prohibition. So Torah is when the lines is going to be there permanently. I think even chalk is going to stay there for a long time. How long time? I mean, permanent. It's not until Mashiach comes, right? And until the end of the days, basically. But permanent, we said that we do not know when it's going to get erased, right? That there is unless some like external circumstance happen. So meaning that's considered to be permanent. So permanent. We say, according to some opinion, it's more than 24 hours. It's already permanent. Okay. Okay, so it's not going to get erased by itself. However, rabbis extended the prohibition even to include lines that will not endure. Okay. Okay, so let's see. So section number 4, methods of performing the Melachah. Misartate, meaning the cutting, tracing lines, is forbidden, whether performed with a utensil or hand. With a hand meaning like with a nail or something, right? For example, misartate, meaning a tracing line, performed with a utensil, would be drawing a line with a pen to guide one's writing, or scratching the mark with a knife on a plank of wood so that it can be cut to the certain measure. An example of misartate performed by hand would be creasing the piece of paper so that it can be torn in a precise size. Right, so that's very good examples. So let's see from the beginning. So again, our topic is methods of performing the Melachah. So misartate is forbidden whether performed with utensil or hand. So meaning if, as we learned before, if it's usually this Melachah is done by hand, that's a normal way of doing things. Okay. Okay, we perform with utensil would be drawing a line. Okay, the example of misartate performed with a utensil, drawing a line with a pen, right? With a pen in order to guide the writing. I mean, today we have like a paper ready, but let's say for whatever reason it's not lined. Okay. Okay. Or a scratch in a mark with a knife in a plank of wood, right? In a plank of wood, so that it can be cut in a certain measure. So, or as I said, like with a pencil, like making a mark on the wood or something. Okay. Or even on any material, doesn't matter, right? An example of misartate performed by hand is creasing the piece of paper, right? And it could be very, very precise. Right, very precise, and it's going to like Torah exactly as as a person intended, meaning creases the piece of paper so that it can turn on a precise size. Okay, so that's examples. Those are examples. So meaning some people somehow they do not like this. What is it? The bookmark, and they turn like a. Fold the corners of the book. Okay. Even though they don't have intention to cut the corner, but to create this crease is a problematic. Okay. So number 5, the object upon which the Melachah is performed. Right. So A, hard or soft materials. The Melachah misartate, so meaning tracing lines, applies no matter on what composition of the objects upon which the line is traced. Whether one traces guided lines upon the hard material such as wood or metal, or pliable materials such as paper or cloth. Okay, he has violated the prohibition of misartate. Okay, so meaning. So again, this section 5, right, said there is no difference what material is soft or not soft. Okay. Right, meaning when person traces line, right, that's would be forbidden. So in other melachas, we actually said that this apply only to hard material, or it's apply only to soft material. And there we had a difference. Okay. So meaning too hard, like wood, right, or metal, or pliable, such as paper or cloth. Okay. So, and the next one, B, is food items. This Melachah does not apply to food items. Therefore, one is permitted to scratch lines onto challah, very interesting, or cake, in order to cut them into previously sized portions. Right. So that's what people do, right? In order to cut cake to like so many number of pieces. First they do like this like calculation. So they would draw line like this, like that, and they start continue dividing. And only after that, after they see that I have enough pieces, right, slices, so then I start cut. But before all of the calculation, usually people do not have cuts. Well, they do not cut. Right, in challah, right, challah we usually cut. Why do we cut challah? Right, why do we cut challah? Like to minimize the time from the blessing until we actually do the melachah. Okay, so we do like a little itching, but it cannot be deep enough. But it could be like should be visible. So and actually, like some people think, and like somebody said to me. Sent me a question, or was it in class? Like person lost the place where he marked. I don't know, like it's possible, and right, and he was looking, and because somehow this person thought that it's absolutely must to cut exactly on the line where you itched. It's not right, and people become nervous, and they have everybody say suggesting, and like it's absolutely wrong. So right, and person felt very bad about it. Why? Because he understood what happened by him hesitating where to cut, which is actually, I would say, just said it's preferable, but it's technically irrelevant if you can, even if you cut different place. But he like put it in a sense a stumbling block in front of the line. So because other people start talking with their like priceless advices. Like if you see somebody is doing something, just keep quiet. Let a person finish. Or if you know halacha for sure, so you can maybe motion him like if you know for sure. If not, just keep quiet. Very interesting. So so continue. Part number 6: practical applications. A, making lines on a challah or cake. It is permitted to trace line on challah or bread on Shabbos in order to cut even slices. Even slices. So especially like if you don't have extra bread and you want to give everybody the same portions. I mean, some people, believe it or not, they get offended, right? If I get a small portion, like there's so much food, like we're going to cut another challah. What are you worrying? But some people are very, very particular. It's not good. It's not good to be that particular. Whatever they gave you, you just eat. Okay. Likewise, one may trace lines upon the cake or to make an indentation in a tray of ice cream. Very interesting. In order to serve the precisely sized portions. Okay, so let's do it again, but that's how we explain. Again, tracing the lines on a challah, limited amount of challah, and you know that you need to make 4 portions, 12 portions, let's say 7 portions. So you can each this make like small cuts, right? Not cuts, but marks. Likewise, one who traces a cake. So a cake, for sure, like you need to calculate how many pieces, right? And also, as he says here, it's very interesting. Right. So since it does not have indentation in a tray of ice cream, in order to serve out to precisely sized portion. I'm not sure about the tray. I mean, what kind of tray is it? So a tray, I understand, like it's usually a paper tray, then like lined with aluminum foil or something. Right, but it would be like permanent for sure. So it's not food. This tray, maybe if it's some kind of food, I'm not sure. But usually, what people do, they do it same as a cake. Do it on on an ice cream cake, and that's it. You don't need to like do it on a tray. Okay. So in the next one, B, trace lines into the molding clay of Play-Doh. So Play-Doh is a muktzah, right? For sure, it's muktzah. One would be forbidden to trace lines in a molding clay or a Play-Doh, molding clay or Play-Doh, in order to cut it into the certain shapes or the certain measures. Not clay, a Play-Doh, muktzah on Shabbos. Okay, but to make the point, right? So muktzah is one thing, but if they want to make some things like that would resemble each other, so that's how they do. They divide in exactly the same portion of the Play-Doh. Okay, they make in trees, whatever they make from that. Okay, just makes sense. Next one, C, creating a corner on. Creasing corner on the page. Creasing a corner on the page in order to find the location at the different time is permitted. So in this case, right, in this case, person has no intention to cut it, but okay, right. So, but it is permitted. Creasing, I'm not sure if a person is going to bend or just. I guess a person is going to bend. Right. No problem. So technically, it is permitted, but the way I see it, it's like disrespect to the book. So these things, just so I know, these flags that I use or other things, you can move on Shabbos. There is no prohibition. Right? They're not there to permanently attach. They you just continue moving. Okay. Okay, and we're going to start with HaShem. This already by the topic, I see it's a huge topic, huge. Right, maybe the longest topic, right? But we're going to start Bezras Hashem. So now topic is building, Boneh, right? Chapter 30, and we spoke about this Melachah of Boneh like several when we discussed several other Melachas, and we're going to see how many of them interconnected. So meaning when one desecrate one, he actually or she actually did desecrate other as well. Others. So from the beginning, part number 1, section number 1, the Av Melachah. Boneh, building, is one of 29 Avos Melachas that was performed on Shabbos. That are prohibited on Shabbos. Building was performed in the Mishkan when the walls were assembled. Right. So meaning these walls. If you see the picture from ArtScroll, beautiful pictures. A lot of picture, I think, where is it? I think maybe in Tanakh, like a separate ArtScroll book of Tanakh, and they say in the back all of the beautiful pictures. They combine from all other books, I think. Maybe I saw it somewhere else. Right, so those are huge planks. I think 10 amos high, right? All of them. They did. Around the Mishkan. I mean the walls of the Mishkan. So and all of them were, as we said before, were designated to a specific place. They wrote coordinates on the bottom. All of these things. So and then when they assembled, they would put together, and they put the rings on top, right, to keep them like straight, attached to each other, and then. Inside they would put a rod, like through them inside, and from outside also two other rods. Like they will put the rings, right, and through this ring they push a rod. Okay, so meaning all of these buildings, this Melachah of building. So the building could be on a big level, building like we understand building, like building of the walls or something, right? Attach something to that is attached to the ground. For example, touch the door. The door fell off the hinges, right? And the person tries to put it back. So now this door is going to be attached to the building, which is attached to the ground. It would be forbidden. Also, right? I don't think we deal with this ever or only a few times in our life. But what is the more common is building small utensils. Right, and small utensils a person assembled together. In some cases, it would be allowed, and in many cases, it would be forbidden, especially with a tight, joint. Okay, so BeEzrat HaShem. So as I said, I think it's would be the longest, the most detailed Melachah, I think. Okay, so next topic is. It's subsection 2. Definition. Boneh building can loosely be defined as the bringing together of individual components to form a larger whole. For example, join the beams and planks to form a structure. However, from halachic standpoints, it includes numerous other activities as well, as will be explained below. Okay, so let's quickly overview. And it says the building can loosely define and bring together individual components to form larger whole. So larger whole, anything that we attach to the building. So meaning banging in a nail, right? So you join two components. You have a wall, right? You have a nail, and now a person joined them together. Joined the beams and the planks to form a structure, right? It's like a classic from Mishkan. However, from the halachic standpoint of view, it includes numerous other activities as well, as will be explained below. So meaning that does not have to be attached to the ground, even if it's not attached to the ground. Or for example, what happened? It's not so. Right. One second. We had one class, and one person, the person is listening, not listening. You have no idea. And after some time, he started listening very carefully. How it happened? We learned this Melachah of building, and we explain about the draw that came out. Right, like today, it's not so simple. They have lock, and you know how you push one to the bottom, one to the bottom, and then from another side you pick you pull it, right? Pull it, and then you can remove the draw. But that's sophisticated, but simple draws you just take it out, and that's it. Especially the olden days. There's nothing, no stoppers, nothing. Today they have a stopper, so meaning have to go like this or some movements. But in olden days it was very simple. So and I was explaining it depends on what kind of draw, right? Even if it's draw under the desk, so you have a desk, right? Desk, and you have for legs, and under the desk is a draw that's hanging under the desk. It's one thing. And another, it's when you have a dresser, right? Or you have a nightstand. So meaning you have all of the three walls, and then you have a drawer. And we said that halacha is different, depends on this. So this person started asking questions. I answered the questions, and I was very surprised. Like he never asked any questions in the class, nothing ever. And then sometimes later he said actually I was not listening to whatever you say. I just I was daydreaming or something. But these draws attract my attention, and I wanted to find out what's the difference. Very interesting. Still learning with them. Very, very interesting. Right. These draws. Okay. So continue. So meaning it is also to put the draw back. It's like you're building, right? There is connection. And we'll see what is the difference. Some draws you can put back, some cannot. Okay, so part number 3, Torah and Rabbinic prohibitions. The Torah prohibition against building on Shabbos applies only when the result is intended to be permanent. For example, when one constructs a permanent structure. However, the sages extended the prohibition to include acts of building that are intended to be temporary duration only. Okay, so let's review this part number 3. Again, this commentary. Torah and Rabbinic prohibition. The Torah prohibits against building on Shabbos applies only where the result intended to be permanent. So permanent, as we explained before, just leave it no intention to disassemble. Okay, let's put it this way. Okay. Look, right. No plans. So meaning a person can disassemble right after Shabbos. But in the when she was building, right, there were no such plans. Okay. For example, when one constructs a permanent structure, and now we have a commentary of this permanent structure. So right, as we said before, permanent is right. We don't have intention to disassemble. But let's see what he said. In the context of Shabbos law, there is no absolute definition permanent. All depends upon the structure being built and intention of the builder. However, since even the act of temporary building, in any case, places one in violation of the Rabbinic law, we have not elaborated here on the requirements of permanence. Okay, so yeah, that's it. So again, permanence, as we learned, what we learned about permanence, I'm going to remind you. When we're talking about making knots, right? You cannot tie a knot and you cannot untie a knot. So one of the definition of the knot, we said that it should be permanent. Permanent meaning I don't have intention to undo it. So meaning, and we said there is a different opinion. So according to one opinion, it's 24 hours. According to another opinion, it's actually 7 days. Right, 7 days. So until next Shabbos. But as he said, different opinions. We're not going to go into it. And plus, since rabbis say that you cannot build it or connect these elements together anyway, even for a temporary basis. So meaning, right, we're not going to look into it. So meaning it is forbidden. Okay. So, however, the sages extended the prohibition include acts of building that are intended to be temporary during the duration only. Okay. So, and we're going to see that depends on what kind of connection is it, right? Is it tight, not tight? So, meaning tight, when somebody connects something tight, it means it's more permanent. And when something is not tight, so meaning that it looks like is not permanent, but we're going to see. So example, in olden days, as I remember for sure, right? We had the faucet, and the faucet like a metal, of course, but the handle handles were ceramic, and there was like a screw on the bottom or on the side. So and from time the screw is become loose and it fall off, and the handle would come out. So meaning I remember many times, and we did whatever we did. My father did, God bless him, did something, right? Put some threads on that screw to screw it back in. And some people did not do it, and it's many times this the faucet handle would come off. Right? It's very interesting. So meaning you would not be able to put it back. You would not be able to put it back for sure with a screw. It's forbidden. But even just put it back because it's connected to the building. That's the key, right? But if it's not connected to the building, so you have something like small utensil and and it's only temporary, you would be able to bring together two pieces together. We'll see. Okay. So now part number 4. And it says activities included in the Melachah of building. It is common in its common usage. The word building refers to the construction of the building, such as house or a barn. Okay. However, in halakhic sense, the term included a number of activities that, while not generally classified as building, are halakhically classified as such. Here's the list of the activities prohibited under the Melachah of building. A. Improving the ground. B. Building the structure. C. Repairing or adding to the structure. Okay. And D. Assembling movable parts. Right. We'll now elaborate on each of these categories. So let's see from okay. So this like section is like introduction to what we're going to learn. Again, it is common usage. The word of building refers to construction of the building, such as house or barn. So meaning with cement, with the boards, with windows and doors, everything. But it's also included in this Melachah. But these things, I guess, it's obvious to everybody. So it's not going to be in the spirit of Shabbos, but at least. Right? But here we're talking about different things, like more broader sense. Right, so halakhic sense, the term includes number of activities which are not generally classed as building, right? Are halakhically classified as such, meaning even fixing things, right? Or getting as he said, improving the ground, and that's how the whole construction starts. They first improve the ground, right? Make it straight, right, and then start digging to create foundation. So meaning digging the ground is also Melachah, right? That's why we're not allowed to do many things, right? We'll see what digging is. Okay. Halakhic classified such. Here the list of construction of activities prohibited under the Melachah. So again, improving the ground to make it straight. So meaning what? Right away, it's like people ask why we cannot play sports, right? With the ball and Shabbos. That's exactly the reason. If I remember correctly, it's at least one of the reasons, right? Because a person would level the ground, right? With the ball or by feet, right? Because they want everything leveled, right? Building a structure, everybody understand, right? That's simple. Repairing of adding to a structure, repairing as I did an example with this handle from the faucet, adding to a structure, banging a nail, right, and similar, all right, and deassembling movable utensils. So movable utensils could be a sliding door, right? You have a sliding door, and some in olden days it was very different. Today they have all of the locks, all of this adjustment tools. So right, so you can screw, adjust with the screw. It's going to be tie higher, lower, all of these things. So meaning it's not going to go off the tracks. So simple. But in all of this, there was not like that. The doors, the sliding doors would come in off the tracks left and right. Not often, but still, it was not uncommon. Let's put it this way.